Now the text widget, if you hover over it, also actually takes some named parameters. You find a curly brace and a long list of parameters between those curly braces here as well. But there also is one positional parameter, and that's possible as well. You can mix and match those different parameter types as needed when defining functions. That is totally up to you, the developer. And here, this positional parameter is indeed what we must set when using text. Otherwise, we get an error that one positional argument is expected, but 0 arguments are found. And here, the one piece of data that we must pass in is some human readable text, which should be wrapped between single or double quotes, and single quotes are more common. And here you could write hello world, for example. Now these single or double quotes are required because without them, Dart would think that hello or world exclamation mark should be keywords or identifiers. Now hello and world are definitely not keywords built into Dart, so identifying these words as such fails. And they're also not valid identifiers because neither in the material Dart package which we're importing, nor in your file is there a hello or world function or anything else you could be referring to here. Referring to run app, material app, and text worked because those things are indeed defined here in material Dart. Hello and world are not defined there, and they shouldn't be, because here we're not trying to execute some commands or run some code. Instead, this should be human readable text, and whenever you have text that should not be interpreted as commands, you must wrap it with those quotes, so that this is marked as text that is, for example, meant to be read by humans and not executed as code. And with all those things, we now have our first basic combination of widgets, where we create the text widget and pass that to the material app widget, which then in turn is passed to run app. And with that, if you now make sure that you have an emulator up and running, and you start your application on that emulator, either by going to run without debugging, or by clicking this run button here, which is provided as a convenience by the code editor, by Visual Studio Code, you will see this hello world text on this virtual device. It looks ugly, it's definitely not a good looking app, also not a useful app, but it is a first step, and it's our first user interface built with Flutter and widgets that's shown on the screen. Now we can dive in deeper.